All right, ladies and gentlemen, the aftermath of the Super Bowl is here. It is literally 48 hours since the confetti has been removed from the field, and we're here to break it all down for you tonight on Snap, Tackle, and Talk.
Kick it off, break it down, they're calling the play. Go to Ron debates, keep the night from the day. Some rise, some fall, on the charts they fall. But we'll keep tuning in to Snap, Tackle, and Talk.
All right, we are back with Snap, Tackle, and Talk, our first post 2025-26 season episode. I'm Dwight Couch. With me, as always, is the one, the only, the incomparable Mr. John Reed. And we are columnless tonight, which we are fine with tonight. So, John?
So let's get them views up. Come on, viewers.
Yeah, let's hear all the comments tonight. Let's get started and talk about how your week's been, except you got to give me 1 second because I left my root beer on the counter, so I will be right back.
We can't do a show without a root beer. That's just not gonna fly. Don't tell Dwight I said this, but I drink manly beer, not root beer. He'll go back and watch this later and be like, "What's he saying?" The anticipation's killing you, fans. I already know.
Oh, so
He's back.
my A&W.
A&W.
It's a good root beer. No, so how's your week been, John?
It's cold most of the week. Today, though, temperatures have arose.
All right.
Almost 70 degrees today. It was pretty nice, actually. A lot of the ice is starting to melt, which is good. Driving on that's been terrible. But other than that, pretty straightforward week. I'm tired of everything getting canceled, games, practices, all kinds of stuff. So it's just been a stay-at-home kind of week. School. Oh, gosh. We missed like 11 and a half days straight. Jeez Louise. But everybody's back on track. So how about you, Dwight?
I've had a fantastic week, as always, digging out from under the ice. School, again, of course, we went one day. They went one day. I didn't go. But they went one day in the last 2 weeks, and then they were back yesterday and today. So Frankfurt, I will give our county did a very good job with the roads. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of rural parts, so that's why we got shut down for the additional weeks. Unlike where I work in Fayette County, which was an absolute dumpster fire. Enough that the governor had to actually call out the mayor and be like, what are you doing, or what are you not doing is the more appropriate answer for that. And Lexington's still in bad shape. They had a 2-hour delay today. They just went back to school. So thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by this devastating ice/snow storm that covered a large chunk of the United States at one time. But we have a game to talk about, John.
Yes, we do.
And I'm very disappointed to say that South Korea beat the United States in curling. That caused them not to get the gold, but there was a great comeback. And the mixed couple got silver for the United States in curling, my favorite Winter Olympic sport. So there was a big game we were talking about. There was also a football game that was played on Sunday after all the curling events happened. They played football, or at least what was
American
supposed
football.
to be a football game. Yeah. Hey.
What's up, Mike?
What up? Yeah, it
was.
So let's talk about the game, and then I'll vent a little bit. What did you think overall of the game itself?
It was more of a defensive game for most of the game. A lot of field goals, at least by one of the teams.
Yeah.
And there in the fourth quarter, it kind of broke out. Some of that was garbage time points by New England. Some of it was just the dam broke finally for Seattle when they got a touchdown, and it was due to a turnover. The turnover is what really sealed the deal for New England. I don't think New England was there yet. They made it to the game. That was great. They did play a lot of tough defenses, but you got to also look at the other side of the ball, the teams they played. I give them mad props for getting through those tough defenses. I mean, their whole path was tough defense. But, I mean, played the Chargers, which we know what they do in the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. Their offense crumbled. They played the Texans. Amazing defense, but where's the offense? Then they played the Broncos, who normally would have had an adequate offense at least. Although, let's be honest, the Broncos offense wasn't like a top tier offense this year, but another solid defense. But still, when you take your starting quarterback away, that makes it a lot easier offense to face. So they got to the Super Bowl, and then they played a complete team. That's all there is. I give a lot of props to New England's defense, especially what was it, Christian Gonzalez?
Yeah,
He was amazing. He might be the best corner in the league right now.
he definitely looked out like it in the first half of that game.
Yeah, he played amazing, dude. He and their line, they got some pressure and they kept them in the game. We'll say that. But listen, Patriots fans, there's no reason to hang your head here. Let's be honest. You probably shouldn't have made it to the Super Bowl. Circumstances, which happens in the NFL, got you all to the Super Bowl. You're a good team, but circumstances allowed you to make it to the Super Bowl. Your team's so young. Like, you have so much to look forward to. The fact that they were able to make it to the Super Bowl this year just says a lot about the future for New England. I mean, I hate to say it because I watched years and years of New England dominating. But another couple of years, you guys are going to be a very tough out for any team as long as you keep trending in the direction you're trending in. No reason to hang your head. I know there were some struggles in the game, but honestly, for me, that was expected because I kind of seen New England was playing a more complete team this time, and your defense did awesome. You could, if your offense could have got going, you could have possibly hung in that game. Hats off to you, New England, but the better team did win. And I'm just going to throw this out here. The should have been coach of the year one. I completely disagree. I'm actually a big Vrabel fan, surprisingly, because I'm a Baltimore fan, and Tennessee and the Ravens, when Vrabel was the coach, did not get along very well. But Vrabel's an amazing coach, and he was very deserving of candidacy for that. But I just think Mike McDonald has been the better coach, and he should have got coach of the year this year. But just my opinion. What do you think, Dwight?
I didn't enjoy the game. I normally like a really good defensive battle, and this had the elements of that. Drake May is going to be a great quarterback in the league. At this point in his career, that game was bigger than he was. Mm-hmm. And it was too much. And you could tell if he would have calmed down, took another half a second before he threw, that game could have looked a lot different. Because I think Drake May was the better quarterback in the game. And I really believe that. I believe pound for pound, I think Drake May will be much better than Sam Darnold will be. Are they there at the moment? No, but he will be. Sam Darnold didn't exactly light the world on fire either, which is what I thought that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was Sam Darnold was going to be the MVP. And he came out and he played like we've seen Sam Darnold play in the bigger games. Fortunately, Christian Walker, who is also a free agent, by the way. Kenneth Walker is also a free agent. I don't know about Christian Walker, but Kenneth Walker definitely is. He's not technically the reason they won, because I think that falls more on the kicker. I think Jason Myers did a fantastic job, and he allowed them to get ahead by enough where New England could never, ever come back from that 17 points. They were able to match the touchdowns with Seattle. They just couldn't match the getting it down the field and scoring with the 3 points. Stevenson did fantastic. He had a great playoff run. He looked really good. He'll be a good person to have around while, was it Travion Henderson? It's Henderson, right?
Yeah, Henderson.
Yeah. So while he gets his legs and under him in the NFL, that'll be a good combination for New England.
Yeah.
Drake May is a good quarterback, and he'll be great in New England. They will be there again. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not in contention next year, because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of free agents that'll want to go play for Vrabel.
I'm sure. I mean, big name, Max Crosby's already threw it out there.
Yeah. I mean, should you put Max Crosby on that defense? That's the best defense in the league next year. And I'll put it up against our defense, because New England's defense is really good.
Yeah.
I agree with you that there were circumstances that they didn't get there, or the reason they got there were due to circumstances. I am generally one that is very good about taking my season, smashing it up no matter what happens, and putting it away. However, watching the Super Bowl, I couldn't, because the way the game was played was exactly the kind of game that we've played all year. And it just ate at me that we were a holding call away from our quarterback being healthy, and we would have been in that position. Because if Bo Nix was healthy in that last game, we would have beat the Pats. We probably should have beat them with Jarrett Stidham. I think if Seattle played that kind of game that they did Sunday, I think there's a lot of teams that could have beat them. I don't think Seattle was the better team out of those two. But those two teams, the way they played, weren't the best two teams in the NFL the way they played that night.
I mean, that could be the same for any team, though.
Right. No, it could be. Now, typically, your teams, at least one of them, step up for the Super Bowl. I don't feel that either team really stepped up. I think Seattle's defense got the 6 sacks because Drake May was scared. He was playing scared.
I don't know if it's necessarily he was playing scared. I mean, I'm sure the moment was big, like we talked
rattled,
about, but I also don't feel like they opened up the offense to him till the end of the game, because when he started throwing down the field more, he had more success. I was concerned about that. Like, usually that's not what you see from Josh McDaniel's team. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Super Bowl. It's lay it all on the line. Let your quarterback sling the ball. You know what I mean? You may have a turnover, especially when, they're up 12-0 on you. I mean, I think at that point coming out from halftime, it's probably like, okay, we need to stop trying to be conservative. We need to sling the ball and try to get back in this game and put 7 on the board, because they're only kicking field goals at this point. And they might not have got a touchdown if it weren't for that turnover. Put them in good position. So it's hard to say what could have happened if they would just stylistically played a little different offensively. I do want to give mad props to Sam Darnold, though. His story is actually pretty impressive. He came in a draft with Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Granted, he was the second quarterback taken, I'm pretty sure, so he had high hopes from the beginning, but unfortunately he landed with the Jets. And after his time with the Jets, people just thought he was a bust. He went from this team to that team. He actually had some decent play when he went to San Francisco as a backup when he came in. But then he went to the Vikings, and we've seen what happened. He played very well for the Vikings. Took them to they were like what, 15-2 or something like that. But
no, they were really, really good.
And then at the end, he just fizzled out. But this year, he came in. He's played admirably all year. I mean, he's had games that weren't so amazing, but he's played admirably all year. And I mean, he won a Super Bowl for him. I mean, it's crazy to think out of the quarterbacks that were in that draft with him, he's the first one to win a Super Bowl. It's very inspiring. So I want to give Sam Darnold the credit he's due. He's taken a lot of slack over his career in the NFL, and he deserves a pat on the back for this one. And you had brought up the kicker for Seattle. Most field goals made in a Super Bowl ever. 5 field goals. And also, he had another thing. I think I posted on.
Yeah, he had the 2 field goals, so it was the most points ever scored as well by a kicker in the Super Bowl.
But I wanted to say there was NFL history too. Oh, yep. Most points scored in a season in NFL history. The kicker, Jason Myers, most points ever in history in a season. That's crazy. I think he had like 202 or it's a little over 200, but it's crazy.
So, my God, I agree with you, and I think a lot of people do. However, let me put you on this position. The way that game played, you had Jason Myers, who had 17 points off field goals. Could have potentially had more had they faced Denver, because those passes that none of those touchdowns might not have happened. But it would have been fun to have a Super Bowl where you had on one side, you had Jason Myers, who kicked all that. On the other side, you had Will Lutz. And it could have legitimately been like a 19-17 game. And it could have been strictly all off of kickers, which would have been fantastic. And you would have had the 2 better defenses. But I'm off my high horse about that, because this is the only time I've ever sat here, and it really put a taste in my mouth with the Super Bowl. And I'm typically not that fan. And this season did just a bit. It was a horrible one. Mainly because I was watching New England in the Super Bowl. So I was pulling for Seattle. They won. So there you go. It was not a very fun game to watch, in my opinion. I would rank it very low if we were to do a ranking list, which we will probably do over the next few weeks, of Super Bowls. I would say this won't be very low on the totem pole, with the exception of Seattle's defense, the dark side defense. I did enjoy watching them get to Drake May 6 times. I did smile about that. So it was fun watching them play, because I do enjoy a really good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we should probably mention this too, since it's a podcast about it. The final score of this game was 29-13 for all of you who are wondering.
Yes, and not indicative of how the game was played. The game was a hell of a lot closer than that score shows.
Yeah. And I know you had said it was kind of like neither of the teams played very well and all this offensively. I mean, defensively, both teams played very well, I thought. There were miscues, but overall, I mean, this Seattle defense is a historically good defense, which is, again, to my point about Coach of the Year, that's Mike McDonald. That last year we had him as the Ravens when we made it to the AFC Championship and lost to the Chiefs. We had an historic defense that year. That's the level Mike McDonald coaches his defenses. And obviously he's got the mind to build a team around him to be able to go win a Super Bowl as well. I don't know. I'm probably going to harp on that a few more times before this episode's over. I don't know. It's right there in the face. Which coach won the Super Bowl? Now, I understand different talent on the teams, all that stuff, but man, I just think the mind of Mike McDonald, they're both defensive coaches, but one mind is clearly stronger than the other. And that's not a knock against Vrabel. He's very intelligent, but I just think Mike McDonald's a defensive genius, honestly.
People can also be like, well, New England was a worse team going into preseason. Their power ranking was a lot lower than anyone. Seattle wasn't knocking it off the chart on anybody's power rankings too.
No.
I think maybe at best, maybe 17th, 16th was where Seattle fell in. I'm pretty sure they might have been higher.
I mean, you're right. You're right. They should have been higher just based off the defense, because I know I'd mentioned it before, but I'd said before the season started they were going to have a top 5 defense, and I think they definitely did. I mean, defense alone, they should have been ranked, maybe not top 10 in preseason, but, definitely in the higher or lower teens, I guess you would say. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I would have never predicted this Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. Both of these teams were in the category of one more year for me. I thought both of them were going to be tremendously better than they were the previous year, but they were both one more year for me, even making the playoffs, honestly. So I was pleasantly surprised by both teams. Now, a lot of people harped on New England, saying they had such a soft schedule. That's, the reason they haven't faced anybody and all that. They did have a soft schedule, but I don't think that's what allowed them necessarily to make it as far as they did. I think they do have talent, and
Mhm.
their talent is what got them where they were. There were circumstances, but I do think in this big game, especially, the lack of talent that they played through the season probably didn't prepare them for that moment enough. That's the way I would say the easier schedule affected them at the end. It might have hurt them a little bit there, but it happened. It was a Super Bowl. We got a champion, and we'll mark it down in the history books, and
Right.
we'll see the Ravens in the Super Bowl next year.
Now that the offensive coordinator of the Super Bowl team is now no longer with the team. He is now an Oakland Raider. Kubiak is the head coach in Oakland.
Oakland.
So good for him. I hate to have to face him twice a year, but however that opens Seattle, what do they do now? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator there? Promote with him? Are they going to hire someone else? Is that going to affect the team next year? Can they even think about going back? Walker is also a free agent. So Seattle's got a lot of offseason that is going to shape whether they're sniffing the playoffs or sniffing the Super Bowl next year, whereas New England is a very young team, not losing a whole lot. I think has plenty of cap space room. Need a wide receiving core upgrade for sure, especially everything with Diggs. Maybe they need to get some people in there a little more reliable and pump that up. I think they're in a good space. Quarterback, they're in a good space. Their offensive line seems pretty good. Their running back room is okay.
Now
they definitely need the wide receiver core to be strengthened.
I do want to touch on their offensive line. Will Campbell, their left tackle, he got a lot of criticism. He did not play a very good game, and I'm not going to sit here and say I watched every Patriots game this season, but I don't think he's been the best left tackle. Yes, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Most of this came from Will Campbell. He had a terrible game. He even denied post-game interviews because, I'm not making fun of the guy, but a lot of his teammates even said he was like crying. So like he wasn't going to do any interviews. But regardless of that, I'm pretty sure Vrabel's saying he's going to stick with him. I don't know if this guy's a rookie, he might be, or at least a younger player. So maybe there's something there that can be developed.
What's the first name?
Will Campbell, or Will is his first name. But yeah, Vrabel's come out and said he's going to try to stick with this guy there.
And I think he should. I don't think anyone on that team should be punished because they played great in every other game. Because Drake May looked like an absolute stud in every other game they played in. Drake May looked a hell of a lot better when he played us than he did playing Seattle. So
let me ask you this, Dwight. I'm curious your thoughts on this. And Mike, too, if you're still watching. Had Drake May won the MVP, would that have affected his confidence in the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it could go either way. It could either make your head inflate and make you play super good, or it could be like a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got to go out there and play like an MVP now, Could have went either way, I guess.
All right, so mock drafts have it right now with the 31st pick that New England should take Alabama's Caden Proctor to either replace Campbell on the left side or provide insurance behind him if he doesn't work out.
Now I think that's smart.
Yeah, now it does not show. I don't guess he's a rookie because that's what I was trying to find out.
Yeah.
I
mean, if he's still in his rookie contract, maybe see if it pans out. But I mean, if he's already out of his rookie contract, it might be time to move on. I mean, I'm assuming he's still under his rookie contract at least. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if they at least get better
this
there.
was his rookie season.
Was it? So yeah. I mean, You got to stick with him. I mean, if you
Oh
draft
no,
him, you
yeah,
draft
no,
him for a
this is
reason.
the guy. No, they should 100% stick with this guy. He cried on draft day. This is the kid that cried on the draft and say, I will protect him with everything I can.
He's an
You should
emotional guy.
definitely stick with this kid for another year and see what actually happens.
I mean, I would. I mean, it's not a bad idea to back somebody or get somebody to back him up just in case it just doesn't work out. But like, I mean, yeah, if he's a rookie, you drafted him. You got to try to see if he can be coached.
Yeah. So he started
Dwight.
13 games. He missed 4. He had an MCL sprain. He returned for the playoff run. So he didn't get to play in the final 4 games leading up to the playoffs. He also allowed 29 pressures across the 4 postseason games, the most recorded since 2016.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's just a rookie coming in off injury.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason not to draft another offensive lineman, as long as you might want to get somebody that's a little more plug and play. Make sure they can play a different position other than that particular tackle.
So, do you want to hear this, Dwight?
Yes.
Via DraftKings. It was preparation and protection that hurt him the most. Yeah, okay. That was about the MVP question, I think. So, this is via DraftKings. Super Bowl odds for next Super Bowl. Already getting started. This Super Bowl just ended. They've already got their favorites for the Super Bowl next year. Coming in at number 1, no surprise, the Seattle Seahawks, plus 950. Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams, who just lost a veteran to retirement.
He is
also 950. Yeah, he is a crack. That's okay. He's an emotional guy. Coming in at number 3, the Buffalo Bills, plus 1,100. Now, tied for number 4 are 3 teams at plus 1,300. That is the Philadelphia Eagles, the New England Patriots, and the Baltimore Ravens. Tied at number 5 at plus 1,400 would be the Packers and the Lions. Tied at 1,500 are the Chargers, which is crazy because they have to prove they can win a playoff game first, and the Chiefs. Next up at plus 1,700, we've got the San Francisco 49ers. We're getting to you, Dwight. Don't worry. Next up,
trust me, I'm not worried about what anybody says.
Plus 1,800, the Denver Broncos. And then I'm just going to run through them from here. Then you got the Texans, Jaguars, which I'm a little higher on the Jaguars. We do remember you.
What up, Easton? How's it going, my man? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. What'd you think of the Super Bowl? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. I do think the Jaguars deserve to be higher too. Then you got the Bengals, Bears. Bears that low? Like, I don't know. I think the Bears are some of these teams I feel like are in an upward trajectory. Like Bears, Jaguars, Broncos even. Like, I don't know. Then Cowboys, Bucks, Commanders, Steelers. Sorry, Mike. Vikings, Colts, Giants, Falcons, Titans, Saints, Panthers are like way low. Browns, Raiders, Jets, Dolphins, and at the very bottom, the Cardinals. Well, Cardinals fans aren't like that.
I think the Cardinals because their quarterback situation is so uncertain is why they're going to be last on the list. I say that's going to be a trend going into next year. They're going to be a very low pick for everybody. Yeah. Glad you're doing well, Easton.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much across the board, I think. We haven't touched the halftime show yet, but we are going to get into that momentarily. You know what I would like to do? I would like to take $1 and put on each team, because there's going to be the one team in there that's in the lower half of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to make that run that nobody expects. But I'd like to know who that is right now. Now, Colin's not here to talk about it, but I know he's probably getting the script as we speak. He took a secretive flight out of the Cincinnati airport to a destination unknown, maybe to get a dossier on the upcoming 26-27 NFL season. However, we did get a pick of the logo.
Ooh.
And I do want to know your opinions on this, John. This has been a very strong for several years. And if you look at this year's logo, which I don't really think it's New England's colors, I could see some of the Seattle colors in there because they were a team rumored with this, and so was New England. I don't see New England's colors in there. It was more of a Buffalo color.
There could have also been like 10 other colors in there for teams that
it could have. But let's talk about next season, because
Okay.
next season is an orange sunset with some green ocean waves. Now, as soon as I seen it, I'm like, hallelujah, the Broncos and the Dolphins are going to be in the Super Bowl next year, and we should win that game, right? But then everybody's like, oh, well, it means the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be on there. That's
well, Dwight, I will tell you 100%, 100%. I can tell you this right now. The Broncos and the Dolphins will not be in the Super Bowl. Because it's impossible. We're in the same conference.
That is true. Yeah, maybe the AFC Championship game. They just got the logo.
There you go.
I don't see another team. So it would have to be an orange team on the other side. So the Browns are there too.
Bears.
Yeah. So the Bears and the Dolphins make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl.
Or it could be the Broncos and another team with green like the Seahawks.
Yeah, no, maybe the Eagles. I've seen some people put the Eagles there. A lot of people are putting the Bengals in there.
Their defense will have to be better.
Very big orange. So we got that. The Cowboys defense could have been maybe.
Yeah. I think once they got old Williams, they improved quite a bit. But the Micah Parsons really hurt them losing. I mean, I know Jerry Jones has got a big head over it all, but I think losing Micah Parsons really hurt them. Now, if they had kept Parsons and got Williams, they would have been a tough defense. Huh? That would be interesting. You're on.
I can see Aaron coming back. All right. So I think we've talked enough about the Super Bowl.
I do have one more thing to say on a final note.
Okay.
Sad news after the Patriots lost. Cardi B broke up with Stephon Diggs.
Well, that's what you get when you take someone else back to your hotel room that's not Cardi B.
Exactly.
Easton says you're right. So, all right. Let's talk about this halftime show.
Let's do it.
All right. That's enough about the halftime show. I think that's all I need to
we nailed it.
I'll tell you what. I watched that. I watched the other halftime show as well. And you know what? They both suck. I didn't care for either one of them. I like Bad Bunny. I don't like him as a musician. I like him as a wrestler. So I was cool with him hosting the Super Bowl. No issues whatsoever. I don't understand what he's saying. Could you at least subtitle it for me? I watched the 3-hour movie in Passion of the Christ. I read every word on the bottom of the screen. I'm really okay with that.
Yeah.
I had to use ChatGPT to find out what his message was in the Super Bowl or what all the symbolism was. Mm-hmm. And guess what? There was nothing wrong with it. All the stuff he was saying was just fine. I'm all in on the love. I'm all in on less hate. Fine. That's all cool. I would just like to know what's happening. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, Kid Rock's giving a halftime show. You get a 5-minute head start on the Super Bowl's halftime show. And you give me Brantley Gilbert and Gabbard as the first two up there. I like Lee Bryce. I was cool with Lee Bryce's part. By the time the game started, that's when Kid Rock took the stage. Mm-hmm. Why in the world was Kid Rock not opening his halftime show with Turning Point USA? Again, Bad Bunny's message, I didn't find overly political. I found overly frustrated with the situation that happened with power still being out in somewhere that we are saying, hey, we'll take care of you people. Then maybe if we're telling somebody that, yes, I agree with Bad Bunny, then maybe we should live up to that promise. And maybe we should take care of them a little better than we did because we send money on far other places where we have no business to. So, yes, we should take care of the Puerto Rican people. They should be a part of the United States. If you don't like it, sorry. The other side was way too political about it. I get having an alternative, but you don't have to come out and be overtly political about it. How about you just give me a few songs that I want to hear that were an alternative to hearing something that I didn't want to hear? I'm also 46. I'm 47 this year. I'm almost 50. I apologize that Bad Bunny is not in my wheelhouse. If it hadn't been for WrestleMania, I would have not known who he was.
Mm-hmm.
For all the people out there who were suddenly a Bad Bunny fan over the last week and a half, really? Come on. But for all the people that are expecting me to sit here and watch, you give me a halftime show and you're going to give me Brantley Gilbert and I love the one of the Good Guys songs. It's a great song. But really, is that who you're going to give me as a halftime show? Come on now. Where's Metallica? They're from San Francisco. Why? Why is Metallica not playing the halftime show?
It's true.
Come on. Everybody would have been agreed. Yes, play Enter Sandman at halftime. Everybody and their mom would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on the halftime show, John. How about yours?
I agree with you completely. I think neither one of them were amazing. So I think the overall problem is, and this goes deeper than football and halftime shows, is there's not enough people out there willing to compromise anymore for the greater good. I think there's too many people who are too far left and too many people who are too far right. And they just, based on principle, do not want to compromise or meet in the middle, which is not a good way to keep our country united, to be honest. On one side, you had the Turning Point show, or hosted by Turning Point, which was Charlie Kirk's baby, and I'll go ahead and say I like Charlie Kirk. I'm a Christian. He was a Christian. And this is where that turns into it again, is too many people are so convinced that they want to criticize and make somebody out to be a monster. And it goes both ways. It's not one side or the other. Both sides do it. It's not right. But I don't think he would have supported necessarily the message of some of those songs that were played. That didn't seem to appeal to the Christian side very much.
Right.
Which I'm not a stickler. Like, I'm a Christian, but I'm not a stickler. I'm not going to say, oh, you can't say a bad word. You can't talk about drinking alcohol. But I mean, a lot of the songs were like, you belong to the drinking class. And then finally get to Kid Rock and he opens up with Ball with the Ball, which is far from a Christian song. You know what I mean? I just don't know that Charlie Kirk would have been completely game for all those songs representing his company.
But now, wasn't this after everything that happened though? Turning Point USA, was it around before he passed?
Oh yeah. He's the one who founded Turning Point.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was set up after the fact.
No, he founded it years ago. And then we get to Bad Bunny, which again, I support the message that everybody says. I of course didn't understand a word of it, but
I'm also going off AI.
Yeah, what everybody says the message was peace, love, cool. I'm for peace and love. You know what I mean? There's again a lot of rumors out there, but like I said before, you can't believe unless you hear it come out of the horse's mouth. You can't believe what anybody says anymore. The news is all about their priorities and twisted narratives. I mean, it's hard to trust what you hear on TV from either side. But, of course, you heard all the rumors about he's like saying, I don't want white people to watch the halftime show. And then the rumors about burning the American flag and all that stuff, which again, a lot of people are saying that was AI, that wasn't real, which I hope not, because that's not cool. But I ain't gonna judge you for it unless I know for a fact it's true.
Right.
I wasn't a fan of not being able to understand any of it, but I get why the NFL did it. I think at least that, we're getting all these other countries in international football, all that. Puerto Rico is one of the, or, where was it? Was it Puerto Rico where they've been playing? Sao Paulo or San Paul, or did they play?
I don't know if it was in Puerto Rico or not. Was it?
It was Central America somewhere.
Like they played in like Rio and stuff, like Rio de Janeiro and stuff like that. I don't know that Puerto Rico can host anything now because they're still devastated from the hurricanes
Trying
that
to
went
see
through last year or the year before.
Let's see. Where are the NFL international games?
So why wasn't Bad Bunny paired with somebody?
It's Brazil.
Like,
Brazil is where it is. But still, you're trying to reach these people, you know what I mean? And those fan groups, which they say that it was the most viewed halftime show in history. I think there's two factors to that. One, you're getting a lot more of these international people watching. And two, I feel like more and more people are tuning into the Super Bowl every year. So those numbers next year is probably going to be the most, viewed halftime show. That's just kind of how it goes. But like you said, I wasn't particularly thrilled with either halftime show, to be honest. But what were you saying about a partner there? Or
oh yeah, so what was it last year? The year before we got Dre, Snoop, Eminem.
Yeah.
Normally they have all these partnerships. Mm-hmm. Now I know Lady Gaga was a surprise in there, and she got a small piece of a song. Shout out to the people that got married. Congratulations. That was really cool. When I seen it, I was like, oh, that'd be cool if it was real. And then you find out later it was. Awesome for them. That's fantastic. Why couldn't Bad Bunny had other Ricky? Don't parade Ricky Martin out on my TV. Ricky Martin had a popular song when I was in high school. I graduated in 98. He was popular when I was in high school. I'm almost 50. I don't need Ricky Martin on my halftime show.
I thought he was the best one out of all of
them. Bad Bunny's the most popular musician on the planet right now. I get that. I'm all for that, and I get why they picked him. But maybe you should have collaborated a little more with someone else. We found that the solo act halftime shows are not nearly as popular. Mm-hmm. So Bad Bunny will go down with that, even though he had a couple other people in there. Nobody liked the Weeknd's halftime show during the COVID era,
which was crazy because I thought
it was great.
I mean, the only thing that really beats that is when Justin Timberlake exposed Janet Jackson,
right? But Justin Timberlake's solo show, when he done it a few years later, was not well received. Yeah. All the shows that are well received have multiple artists, and I think if they would have done that. And like Mike said here, it was showing off the culture and community while showing we are the same. Then maybe it would have branched out and hit a little more home if we would have had a little more unity in there. And maybe if we had Bad Bunny and somebody else join together to do a halftime. It seemed awful short. I always thought they were longer than what this one was.
Nothing pulls at my heartstrings more than seeing two unlikely people come together for common good or cause, or multiple unlikely people just coming together and for a better cause. That's the way to go. You pull the most unlikely people who you think would never get along or be able to coincide with each other, coexist, and put them in there together and watch them come together and unite the nation. That's what you need to do.
Next time you get Bad Bunny, get Willie Nelson.
And Kid Rock.
Hey, Kid Rock and Bad Bunny could probably throw down together. Probably. That would probably be good shit.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
And then throw Metallica in there too.
Right. Yeah. Have Metallica playing back up. So yeah, I think there's our piece on the halftime show. I don't want to get overtly political or anything with it. I just wasn't impressed all the way around. So let's talk about the best part of the night. The commercials.
Yes.
They had some good commercials. John,
They
what
did.
was your
They did.
favorite commercial?
It was between two. I'm trying to remember. The first one, I can't remember what it was. I remember the premise of the commercial. It had all kinds of like 90s, mainly like sitcom characters in it, like from
Yes.
Friends and stuff. What was that commercial about? I can't remember.
I don't
And it
remember
had
what it
Tom
was for. I've
Brady.
seen it. But
Which
it was
I think
good.
in an episode of Friends, Tom Brady was actually Jennifer Aniston's boyfriend in one of the episodes of Friends too. So they kind of played that back. But I thought that was a cool commercial. It was very nostalgic. But hilarious commercial.
All with the ball to bang a bang.
Coca-Cola actually made fun of I can't remember the guy's name. I know this is terrible. But you remember from the concert where he was like caught hugging his HR lady?
Hold on, it wasn't Coke. It was Pepsi.
I thought it was Coca-Cola. Was it Pepsi?
No. So that was my second favorite commercial. Pepsi pulled out the Coca-Cola polar bears. Bold move. Number
That's
one,
what I was
bold
thinking.
move. You used Coca-Cola's mascot and took our beloved, I'm a Coca-Cola fan, by the way, took our beloved polar bears and trifled with them and made them drink Pepsi like it was a secret affair. However, when they done the Coldplay cam and the polar bears were there with their Pepsi like they got caught, I laughed my ass off. That was beautiful. That was really good. And then all the memes were like, yeah, you know your life's bad when you just got called out by Pepsi. All right, so what was your other one? Oh no, you said the other one was the 90s.
Yeah, the other one was the 90s one, yeah.
I like the polar bear. So that was probably the best commercial. However, at the beginning, I think maybe right before the game or during the first quarter, you had the snow setting, you had the Sam Elliott voice coming across.
Oh.
And you had these majestic creatures going through the snow. And at first, everyone had to think that was this year's Budweiser commercial because that's how it starts. The snow, the Clydesdales, the coach being pulled behind. But as they zeroed in on the Clydesdale nose, you notice that's not a Clydesdale.
Uh-oh.
Then they show the legs, and you get the bipedal movement of a tauntaun. And then it was advertising the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
People are hating on it. They don't get it. I don't think anyone realized that it was a spoof on Budweiser's classic Super Bowl commercials.
Mm-hmm. That was solid. I enjoyed that. I kind of perked up when I saw that. Oh, yeah. Just for reference. So the 90s commercial, Dunkin' Donuts. That was the commercial.
Oh, yeah. It was Dunkin' Demi or something like that.
And there's another good commercial. I just can't remember what it was. It was pretty decent, though. There were several that were all right, though.
Oh, the Pokemon commercial.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That was cool.
You know, that cost $8 million.
Wow.
$8 million. Lady Gaga and a bunch of other people that I had no idea who they were introduced who their favorite Pokemon characters were. And I thought that was a lot of fun. And Lady Gaga singing with Jigglypuff was really cute.
Yeah.
That was a really good commercial. That was probably my favorite commercial. I'll take that back. I rewound it to watch that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that commercial too. Sounds just like Lady Gaga, Dwight.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be touring next week.
The Ravens have officially signed Anthony Levine as their defensive coordinator. So he's come back to the Ravens. Just side note. That'll be Super Bowl relevant next season.
All right. Any way too early Super Bowl picks for next year, John? Just throw one out here and see if we can make it stick against the dartboard.
So really, I think the AFC is wide open. Of course,
the streaker was really good, Mike. I agree.
And I can't remember which player it was, but one of the Patriots, I think it was, tried to tackle him. And as soon as the guy saw the Patriot coming from him, he just went down. He's like, I don't want none of that.
Right.
But I'm gonna go with the Ravens because why not? for the AFC. I mean, the AFC is really wide open. There's no
Mhm.
telling with all the good teams that performed poorly last season and all the new up and coming teams. It should be interesting, the AFC next season. As far as the NFC goes, you know what? Before I go to the NFC, if not the Ravens, I'm gonna say the Jags. I think the Jags have something. They didn't play their best game in the playoffs, but had they won that game, I think they could have made some noise.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the Jaguars. Another good head coach of the year candidate there. But on the NFC side, Seahawks and Rams are probably the best options. But I mean, you got to watch out for some other teams too. I mean, I could see the Cowboys being dangerous if they bring Pickens back and they run that back, but build on their defense. That could be dangerous. I mean, but the same thing could be said about Cincinnati. If they would just make their defense better, they could be really hard to beat. But it doesn't happen. I mean, it's a lot of the same characters in the NFC. I mean, it's hard to look at teams that underperform this season and think that they're going to turn it around by next year. The Bears have a legit shot at becoming better and going to the big dance. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to say right now, I'd say just like Ravens and Seahawks. What about you, Dwight?
Solid. Obviously, my first inclination, I'm going to put the Broncos in there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think the Bears.
Yeah.
I think as Caleb Williams gets older, Caleb Williams is going to be a lot harder to beat.
Yeah.
How many years that lasts? How big is their window? Who knows with a quarterback like that? But I would say next year, there's a really good shot that we're like, oh shit, Caleb Williams is the man. Because he looked really good in spots last year. So when he's complete, however, I will give it back up to my AFC because I agree with you. The AFC, I mean, it could be anybody from Jacksonville to Kansas City to Baltimore to the Bengals. And who the hell knows if a miracle happened and next thing you know, Shedeur Sanders is taking the Browns to the playoffs. The Chargers. If you wanted to go with somebody who could represent the logo, maybe it's the Chargers and maybe it's the Bears in next year's Super Bowl. It's going to be in the Chargers Stadium. When you do the home stadiums like that, that team always tends to make a run that year. You might have LA in LA and have it in LA. If that's the case, then we know it's 100% rigged.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think the Chargers are one of the better teams in the AFC.
Mike McDaniels is now their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I know people didn't like him as a head coach, but guess what? Up until that last year with Miami, he won. When his quarterback was healthy, he won. They were a very high-powered offense till Tua got those concussions. They were one that everyone always talked about. Now take some of the stress off him and then let him play with a toy like Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Man, the Chargers offense could be super freaking scary next year.
Yeah, I think their offense is going to be really good, but I just cannot put them anywhere near Super Bowl until I see the Chargers with Justin Herbert win a playoff game.
Oh, there you go, Mike. I totally was not stealing your answer. But yeah, I can see
Mike, that. You can't, like, that's what I'm saying. I just cannot put the Chargers in the Super Bowl until I see them win a playoff game. Can't do it.
Here's my thing with Seattle real quick, John. I don't think Seattle's going to be together next year. What's their receiver? No, wait, where's Shaheed? Is Shaheed on? He's not on Seattle. Where's he at?
Shaheed is on.
Shaheed.
Isn't he on the Bills? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I thought he was. Wait, I thought he was Kubiak's guy.
Maybe he was. I don't know. I didn't hear his name called a lot.
He was not in this playing in the Super Bowl if that was the case, though, because you would have thought you would have heard him. Okay, no, he's currently. Yeah, no. Shaheed's a free agent. Walker's a free agent. Kubiak just left.
Mm-hmm. Go to the Raiders.
Raiders have $100 million in free agency. I don't know that Seattle signs both of them.
Yeah.
Or either of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the unfortunate part. Seattle's offense might be a shell of what it was this year. And it's
you got to think
it was that hard. Or
you got to think they're going to keep that defense together for the most part.
Yes.
The offense, you can afford to lose pieces because some of those pieces are replaceable. You're keeping JSN. I'm assuming they're probably going to keep Sam Darnold.
I heard that.
I mean,
I think they are.
I mean, if you lose Cup to retirement, I mean, I know he's getting up there. He might play a few more years.
He's got 2 more years on his contract.
But, I mean, Cup's replaceable. Raheem Shaheed is replaceable. Like, you can find a guy just as good, if not better, to fill that spot. So I think anything they lose, they can gain. And by the time midseason rolls around, they're going to have that chemistry.
Do you think they can replace Walker? I don't know that he's that replaceable.
Dude, I don't think Kenneth Walker is this, like, I don't think he's going to go down in the history books like a Derrick Henry or a James Cook. I think James Cook's really good. Saquon Barkley, I don't think he's that type. I think he's taken advantage of opportunities. He's smart, but unfortunately, his play style is very similar to Le'Veon Bell, and unfortunately, I foresee his career going down the path Le'Veon's did. Le'Veon's patient approach was amazing at first. Like, he would sit and watch the holes develop, and then boom, speed right through. But as you get older, you lose some of that kick. He's going to lose a little bit, and then it's not going to turn out as good. I don't think that style is favorable as you age. That's my opinion. I did want to go back to something you said, though, about the Bears and Caleb Williams. About how he has room to grow. I think that's very important. When you have a quarterback who can perform well, especially in big moments like Caleb Williams, and he still has so much more room to improve and get better, that is scary for other teams. I say the same thing about Lamar Jackson all the time. Like, people talk about, oh, Josh Allen's going to win a Super Bowl first. Really? I mean, he might. I don't know. But if I'm looking at it this way between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, we've seen Josh Allen year after year play his best football in the playoffs and not make it to the Super Bowl. What happens when Lamar plays his best football in the playoffs? We haven't seen that yet. There's still a chance. So I have high hopes for Caleb Williams if he stays with this coaching tree.
So I wanted one more thing for you, John, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. If I was to tell you next year that the final 4 quarterbacks in the playoffs were going to be Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels, on a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised would you be versus like, okay, I could see it, versus holy shit, that's unbelievable? 1 being, okay, I could see it, 10 being unbelievable. Where would you fall on that category?
For those being the final 4 quarterbacks?
For those being next year's final 4.
I don't think I would be shocked. 3 of those quarterbacks are very plausible because the 2 in the AFC, that was the final 4 this year. So I could see them with another year of growth getting there again. But of course, I think if that happened, that would mean some of these teams everybody views as the juggernauts, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, that would start looking like a decline instead of them just having an off year. In the NFC, though, Caleb Williams, I could see. They got a good team, great head coach. I don't see Jaden Daniels bouncing back that quickly. And I know what he did. He made it to the championship game the year before. I get that, but maybe it was just sophomore slump. I don't know. I know Scary Terry was hurt for a while and all that, but that defense has to get better in DC. And I don't know. Something's got to change there. That it didn't work this season. They tried to do what they did last year, and it didn't work. The defense has to be better. That's the main thing. And Jaden has to play like he did his rookie year or better.
Right, better.
So 3 of the teams I wouldn't be shocked. Jaden Daniels I would be more surprised with for next year.
Yes, and I agree. I think Jaden and May are the 2 that I would put the least shot of making it there. However, the reason I bring that up is how we looked at that draft class 2 years ago versus how you're looking at that draft class now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's 2 other quarterbacks that got drafted that we didn't even put into that mix that are still highly competitive quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And as we go another 2 or 3 years in, I think that draft class, we're going to look back and be like, damn, that was filled with a lot of really good quarterbacks, because immediately after that draft, a lot of people are like, shit, 6 quarterbacks. There's no way 4 or 5 of them will be a bust, yada, yada. But that was a really good draft class for quarterbacks. I don't know when we'll see that many come out that are legit contenders like that to lead a team to playoffs, because all 6 of the guys are probably going to be around. JJ McCarthy's been your worst, and he'll probably still be the starting quarterback in Minnesota next year.
Maybe. I've heard a lot of speculation on that too.
Oh, hell. And you know what'll happen if they trade him? He'll go somewhere else and he'll probably get a chip on his shoulder. And then you're looking at someone else that'll take the second team and be like, okay, I'm here to play. Because I don't think he's necessarily that bad.
The Browns will probably get him. I bet Mike loved that one.
What about Garrett Bowles? If Sean, by the way, let me ask you this. What about Sean Payton relieving play calling to Davis Webb?
Do you think that'll happen?
Did
he say he's going to do it?
Well, yes, because we had to keep Davis Webb.
Yeah.
And he was getting the head coaching offers, and he had some OC offers. Rumors have it that in order for him to stay in Denver, number 1, he had to get paid. But number 2, Sean was going to have to relinquish some of the control over the offense.
That's going to get sticky. I think this could end negatively if
it could, but Sean Payton's also old. So Sean Payton has to be thinking of eventual successor, because rumor is that it was Sean Payton who did the negotiating with Davis Webb. Like, he was the one saying, what do I need to do to set you up for your future and keep you with the Broncos? I thought that was very interesting, given Sean Payton's track record and how much he likes the control. That's why he's had Lombardi for 18 years or however long they've been together, because Lombardi's just an advisor.
I think we got Lombardi. The Ravens signed him.
You all did. Yes, you did.
Yeah. But I can only say, I don't know how the conversation actually went, obviously, but there's only really one way to play that successfully in my mind, and that's if you do the whole thing like you can have some, I'll have some, that's going to get sticky, and it's going to cause people to get butt hurt, and there's going to be frustration, anger. That's going to hurt your team if you do it that way. If I were Sean Payton, I would have said, yeah, if you'll stay, I'll let you have play calls. Let him call the offense. But if there's a point to where you're hurting our team, I will step in. That's the only way I think you can word that successfully.
That probably was worded that way, if I was to guess, because this is a guy who obviously has head coaching aspirations, who probably could have been hired.
Yeah.
I mean, there was enough openings. Yeah. But I thought that was pretty interesting, because I didn't like Sean Payton until he got to Denver, and I kind of know how controlling he is, and I think that's a good step in the right direction.
I'm still shocked Vance Joseph didn't get taken as head coach anywhere.
Yeah, I can't believe
that. Or Bowles. Todd Bowles didn't either.
I can't believe that Vance Joseph didn't win, coordinator of the year or second, whatever the hell they call
head coach of the year or whatever it was.
I get
McDaniels. Of course,
same team why he did, but shit, come on now. Vance Joseph clearly
Yeah,
did
that's
a
pretty good.
fantastic job with that defense.
Yeah.
Everyone else's defense that were good like that,
Mhm.
maybe except the Rams, because I think McVay is more of an offensive coach, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everyone else was a defensive head coach.
Yeah.
Seattle's guy's a defensive guy. Vrabel's a defensive guy. I thought Vance Joseph deserved it. And
Yeah.
I'll stick to that. And I think he also deserved a coaching job. If you passed up on him, probably made a mistake.
Yeah.
Your team in particular, I thought would have been a great fit for him. And I think that might have been a mistake, but we'll see how
I
that
know.
plays off.
I
Okay.
wanted Vance. That's who I wanted. I mean, I get it. Mentor could pan out. If he ends up having, because that's what everybody's telling me. Everybody is saying Jesse Mentor has the same genius mind as Mike McDonald does. They follow the exact same path. If his mind is just like Mike McDonald's, I'm happy. I'm fine with that. They made
I
the
could
best
very
play.
easily see next year that Mentor's the first year coach that's making the deep playoff run.
Could be.
If anybody's set up for that, Baltimore. Still to this day, I still think Baltimore was the best team in the AFC, even over Denver, just by the talent that was on the field,
And that's
the
the thing.
coaching
Yeah.
staff in place. Even though I still think they were the best team in the league.
Well, I mean, Lamar
Because
obviously
you
wasn't
won that
healthy
season
all
back
year.
again. If Lamar's healthy, it doesn't go that way at all.
No. And I don't know. That's a reason it was time for John Harbaugh to go. There's just these things that the way he does the games and the way the games were called, and it just didn't make sense. Like games where you obviously want Henry to be a feature, he was setting out entire quarters. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know what the plan was there. Maybe it was Todd Monken. I don't know, but I'm glad we got a fresh slate. Hopefully, these news guys will come in and they're gonna use our players like they need to be used, because we went in. Everybody in the preseason said the Ravens were gonna have the best offense and probably the best defense too, just based on the names on our team. And it was not the case. Which, granted, Lamar had a crappy year. He was injured a lot, all that, missed games, all that. But still, aside from that, I just don't think our weapons were being used properly. And we're not going to get that year back. So hopefully Mentor comes in. Him and DeCosta work well together. They work the draft, get good players that we need, and we can start building from there, because Lamar's not going to be young forever. Derek's not going to play in the league forever. So you need to take advantage of having Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the same team. That's
Right.
when that happened, everybody said it was unfair. You can't have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry on the same team. But what have we done with it? You know what I mean?
Right. Even the playing field, you stopped winning.
Yeah.
One thing I think we can both agree on, I don't know that the Bengals will be back. I don't know that the Bengals will make. I don't know. I don't know that the Bengals make the playoffs next year.
I'm just nervous for the Bengals because at some point, one of their three studs, and that's Burrow, and he's the least likely, I think, or Chase or Higgins, are going to fall off. It happens. I remember watching Andy Dalton throwing the ball to A.J. Green. A.J. Green was like one of the best wide receivers in the league. I thought he was amazing. And then one year he just fell off. He never came back. Like, he played in the league, but he just was a nobody. You know what I mean? He was just an average, run-of-the-mill wide receiver. I'm afraid that's going to happen to Cincinnati, and it's going to be too late by the time they get a defense to help out that amazing offense they have.
Right.
And they're getting rid of Hendrickson.
Without it. I think the days of having that higher powered offense and no defense, at least for now, the period of football we're in now, I don't know that wins you games. I think you can do it reverse. I think you can have a defense so good that you can squeak by games, but I don't know that you can just have a juggernaut offense and roll over these teams.
And I know, especially with the 3 last seasons of missing the playoffs, a lot of people are removing Joe Burrow from that elite quarterback list. I still think he's a hell of a quarterback, and I'm a Ravens fan. You know, it might pain me a little to say that, but I mean, honestly, though, if you take away Chase and Higgins, I mean, is Joe Burrow competing? Like, if you put Joe Burrow on the Bills with their weapons, does Joe Burrow look as good as Josh Allen?
No.
If you even put him on the Ravens with Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers, does he look as good as Lamar Jackson?
Maybe. I like Zay Flowers a lot, though.
Well, I like Zay Flowers, but
I think Burrow could have something with the receivers. I don't think Buffalo's receivers are good.
But let's be honest, Zay Flowers is not a T or Jamar. You know what I mean?
He could probably have potential of a T.
Yeah, he could. But both of those receivers are lanky.
Maybe not Bateman. Notice we didn't talk about Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman just fell off this last year. I don't know where Bateman went. He was on an upward trajectory, and then this year he was just nothing. Like, he did nothing. I don't know. We need to find another receiver.
Are at a premium.
A lot of people are linking AJ Brown and crap, I can't remember who the other one was, another big name receiver, to the Ravens. But you know who I want? I want Max. We need an edge rusher. I mean, I know Cincinnati's getting ready to get rid of Trey Hendrickson, but I mean, for the past handful of years, the Bengals have had Hendrickson, who's led the league in sacks before. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. The Ravens just haven't had that guy. If the Ravens have that guy on defense that's consistently sacking people and just a nightmare for the offensive line to deal with, that's what we've been missing. Our pieces in the secondary aren't terrible. Marlowe's getting kind of old. I hate to say it because I like Marlon Humphrey, but he's getting kind of old. You know, but our other corners and safeties are all pretty decent. Young guys, very, very good potential. Our offensive line, our guards need to be switched out. We need a better offensive line. I hope that's the first priority for Mentor. And then we need an edge rush. We need somebody who's going to put pressure on a quarterback. Because, I mean, it was obviously coaching. Because you look at Odafe Owe, the guy would get pressures, but he'd never get there. I mean, I'm not going to say never. He sacked people before, but rarely would ever get there. But he went to the Chargers and he looked like a stud. Like, what's that tell you? You know what I mean?
So it will definitely be interesting to see which teams are there, which teams aren't going back, which teams are the complete surprises. And I know we both kind of laugh with the Dolphins being in the Super Bowl. Half the reason because I had them on the wrong side. However, the other half being has been the Miami Dolphins.
I'm not impressed with their head coach they got.
I don't know that I like him either, but everybody kind of laughed at Liam when he went down to Jacksonville and look what turned around. We could be looking at Florida as being the football state.
But at least Liam was known as like the quarterback whisperer. You know what I mean? He had that going for him.
True. Tampa Bay was ready to give him this guy came from what? Green Bay? He was Green Bay's.
Yeah, I think so.
Was he the offensive coordinator at Green Bay?
I can't remember for sure.
I don't know if he's offensive coordinator or if he's the quarter. No, he wasn't the quarterback's coach, so he had to be the OC.
Yeah, probably.
Got a pretty good.
I guess we'll see. Maybe he ends up being a prodigy.
Yeah, you never know. He looks like macaroni.
Before we sign off, though, since Colin's not here, I do want to say one thing on his behalf. Colin not only predicted the Super Bowl winner, but he also predicted the Super Bowl MVP, guys. So give Colin a pat on the back.
He did. And I think his score was probably a little more. I don't know. You're the one that had the blow.
Mine was close.
Yeah, you had the closer score.
My score prediction was 28-17. And I think it was what?
Damn close.
13-29 or something?
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember.
I had it 27-24. And I think Colin was fairly close. He was.
Colin had a 14-point gap. He had a blowout.
He have a 14-point? He did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you all both were pretty close on the score itself. So make sure you stay tuned. Just because the Super Bowl's over, just because the season over, doesn't mean the fun here on Snap, Tackle, and Talk has to end.
No,
This
sir.
year, we will not be taking a long hiatus. There will be a few weeks where we will be showless. However, we will be back here next week and the week after, middle
Yes,
of July and beginning of July, end of June. There will be a couple weeks where we will be out. Outside of that, tune in, get your draft fix. We might do a draft show this year, so stay tuned. Get your UFL fix. We're going to have some of that right here. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Some of the players that you used to love that you thought were out of football now, but hey, guess what? They're playing in local cities near you. Then we'll get right back in August and we're going to be talking about preseason and, our way too early predictions for the playoffs, the Super Bowls, MVPs, things like that. So stay tuned. Snap, tackle, and talk. Stay football hungry.
and get some.
See how much better it is.
I don't know. Colin just cut him right
Colin
out of
watches this part.
it.